OK FM at 8 a.m. on Fridays and on Prime FM every Thursday at 9:30 a.m. The program will also be repeated on 30 community radio stations across Liberia. Thank you for joining us. In today's edition of the program, we are discussing elections and the change that women bring to the table. My guests today are Madam Cyril Konagalo, a long-time women's rights activist, and Madam Delphine Morris Reggie of the West African Network for Peace. I am your host, Seattle Scott Johnson. Stay tuned. Welcome back. Women have always and will continue to provide leadership in governance here in Mama Liberia. Let's look at two well-known names here in Liberia and around the region, if not the world. We must mention Madam Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. Ellen Johnson Sirleaf is a Liberian politician, an economist, and she was the first woman to be elected head of state of an African country. She was elected in 2006 to 2018. Madam Sirleaf was one of three recipients of the 2011 Nobel Peace Prize for her efforts to further women's rights, bringing an end to the Liberian civil wars. After studying economics and business administration at the College of West Africa in Monrovia, Madam Sirleaf entered government service. Madam Sirleaf has been consistently ranked among the top 5 most influential women from the African continent. And of course, Madam Sirleaf is a Liberian woman. Let's also look at Madam Angie Brooks Randolph. Angie Elizabeth Brooks Randolph was a Liberian diplomat and jurist. She is the only African female president of the United Nations General Assembly and only the second woman from any nation to head that UN body. In 1969, she was chosen as the president of the General Assembly and took office in 1970. In 1974, she became Liberia's permanent representative to the United Nations, where much of her work involved the transformation of former colonial states into independent countries. She also served as Assistant Secretary of State of Liberia. Her tenure as permanent representative ended in 1977 when she was appointed an Associate Justice of the Supreme Court of Liberia. She was the first woman to serve on the Supreme Court of Liberia. So definitely, having women in leadership in Liberia has come a long way. There is a need. We trust women in these spaces. Again, welcome to the program. And it is clear that the audience is tuned in to hear many of your contributions. Thank you for supporting the elections, democracy activity of Democracy International. And just so you know, this program is made possible by the generous support of the American people through USAID. So, with these backgrounds, again, as I said earlier, we have two women that have helped to groom and support and have been in the space of women leadership for time immemorial. We have our own Cyril Gallo, a strong women rights activist, and Delphine Morris Reggie, another strong women rights activist. So let me start with Madam Gallo. Madam Gallo, what are your thoughts on elections in Liberia, looking at the need for everyone to participate and be represented?
Thank you, Sarah, for having me on the program. I'm delighted I'm glad able to join you for this discussion on a very serious topic that I hold dear to my heart. I wish I had the power and the authority or the votes so that I could have 50% women representation at all levels in the House and in the cabinet. But we're getting there, and hopefully we may get there. We may get there someday. Looking at we need to first of all, when we talk about women in leadership, women in decision making, women political participation, you set some of the bases, the tone for the discussion. We've had all these women in leadership. We can take it from the community level. Look at Madam Swa Koko from Bonkande, Man Lango Lepe, from Nagibi County. We could go around the county and name women, right, who held leadership at the community level, at the county level, and made changes, right, to occur at the community level. Then we come to Madam Salif. Madam Salif led this country for 12 years. I'm not saying those women didn't make mistake, but they made valuable contributions to Liberia that helped Liberia to develop and brought the country forward. What happened to you talk about Angie Brooks, her role also, right? So then my question I always ask, what these women who led our country, who carry us, right, the country to where we are, why can't we profile the positive development contribution they made to the country and create that space, that platform to bring more women on board, to elect more women, to appoint more women in different positions across the country? So good, I will hold a discussion, and I'll be happy to hear contributions from our male colleagues, because they are the one who hold the power authority of this country, and we need to have them on board to support or achieve that. People normally say we have a lot of women. Look at the population. Women are little honor men, but why can't the women? I always say to them, women issues are not to be handled by only women. Mm-hmm. Women issues are national issues. So we should plan properly. How we plan for Ministry of Education, Ministry of Health. Why can't we do the analysis and include in our different budgets for different ministry and agency, public corporation? How do we intend to incorporate women, start training young women from school level and bring them up so that they are prepared to participate in decision making and politics?
Definitely, I like the part that you said, start training young women from school level, because the woman, she will not just jump from wherever she is and just come into the space and perform perfectly. Even though nobody's perfect, but she will not just come like that and start performing. She has to be groomed, she has to be trained, she has to be mentored. So with that, let me come to Delphine. Delphine, what can you say about women's leadership with a focus on the changes that women bring to the electoral process?
Firstly, Siada, I'm glad to be a participant of this show this morning, discussing along with my sister, Cecile. My name is Delphine Maurice Reggie from the West Africa Network for Peace Building, WANEP, Liberia. And my institution highly support women leadership. Example is the Women in Peace Building Network, WIPNET. Our work under the Peace Hut is to be able to reconcile partners in conflict and standing for women's rights at the highest, to make sure that women enjoy the benefits that belong to them as citizens of this nation. I am so proud of our past women leaders, as you have already named some, and some are still in leadership in Liberia, like Lema Bowie, like Julie Andy, and the rest of them, Mema Kane. And during the administration of Madam Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, I must be frank with you, a lot of women are open to human rights. We were living in bondage. That is, we are in a male-dominant society where the men have all the power, and then women have lesser power. They were just thinking that we were made to be backbenchers, where we just have babies born, baby cook for them and prepare the table, but they were never part of decision-making processes. They were at the back. in the interior. But when Madam Ellen Johnson took seat as the first female president in Africa and in Liberia, she served as an eye-opener for women. She started to involve a lot of women. They started traveling, attending conferences, to know their rights. We had 1325 in this country that speaks about women, peace and security, but we were not actually holding it as we have equal rights. And we must have equal representation, equal opportunity. All the rights were being given to the men. So I appreciate her administration. It grew us as young women to know our rights, to take the mantle of power and move on. So these women leaders that have been working with us, they have impacted a lot into us, and we are also working with younger women to have, the zeal to want to lead, whether in political participation, whether in other leadership for good governance. Women must be represented. I'm proud of our women aspirants who have come on board to take the bull by the hair to say, I will be representative, I will be senator. May God bless you. We will support you.
Amen. May God bless you. So definitely name a lot of impact that Madam Sirleaf's administration brought to women. She was specific and on opening the eyes of women, and we all can attest. Even our male counterparts can attest that Madam Sirleaf's presence in that space made a lot of women to step up to see how we can get there too. So let me come back to you, Cyril. You've been around for a while. The name Cyril Gallo is no new name in the space for women political participation, for women leadership, for women access to information, just anything that will bring women out of the back and bring us to the front. You stand for that. So how has women leadership benefited Liberia in the past? Because you've been around there.
Okay, so when I talk about women leadership and you ask me about the benefits, I like to take it from the family level.
Definitely.
Right? If we were taking statistics and doing an analysis, taking the data, taking the analysis, looking at homes, right? How have these women who are partnered in homes been able to have grown the family in such a way that will have some positive impact on society? We'll have men and women that come from homes and you hear them say, oh, my mother, if my mother were not there, my grandmother were not there. If my grandmothers were not there, my mother, or my older sister. They have the testimony. They trust. I always say the men of Liberia and Africa trust women with pregnancy. Oh, my wife is pregnant. Oh, my sister pregnant. Oh, my mother pregnant. They trust you to carry a child for 9 months and give safe delivery to that child and you groom the child. If they trust you with that, why can't they trust us with national responsibility to be representative, to be senator, to be minister, to be speaker of the house, to be senate pro tem, to be chief justice? Why can't they trust us with that? And they have trusted few women, and they see the output. We normally say that if you give $1 to a woman and $1 to a man, there are studies out there to show that 10% the woman will use 90% of $1 for her home. Because we think about the family. If we were doing a radio program to be paid and you pay me $5 US, the first thing will click to my mind. I want to see what is missing in my pantry or in my cupboard that will benefit my family. But sometimes it is not like that with the men. The men want to support the ego. They want to support the habit. So now they will say, we go to workshops, they get all money, they give me money. And I say, my friend, let's go across the road. That's how they brought up, that's how they train, right? Let's go across the road and take 1 or 2 beer. Like, chat, we haven't met long time. Chat. You and I said that we meet long time, we meet to a program, we will stand and talk about what issues. But we will not say, let's take money from our pocket to go buy beer or stout or wine to go chat. Even though we drink, yeah, right? We drink wine, we drink stout, we drink beer. But it's how society train us. And having some kind of negative impact on the family, right? Let us see how men, our counterpart, our brothers, our fathers can train us. So normally when I go to this meeting and men say, why you want women to participate in politics? Why? I say, let us take it from me. Don't look at Cyril Gallo, don't look at Sierra Scott Johnson, don't look at Cotto Reeves, don't look at all the other women there, right? Look at the women in your family. How many girls you got in your family? Do you want your daughters, your sister, your nieces to be minister? And the men will tell me, of course, I want my daughter to be minister. I say, these are the women I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the women sitting here that are talking to you. You want your sister, you want your daughter. So why can't you start creating the enabling environment now for your daughters and your sister to take a leadership position in the future and stop looking at me who advocating? If I say we want 50% women in a house, it doesn't necessarily have to be Siri, it doesn't necessarily have to be Sierra. It can be women in the different families, women across the country. So we need to stop looking at, always say, let us stop looking at women issue as only for women. And let's see women issue a national issue and plan for it and execute it properly so that our society can change. The more women get educated in the country, the more women will have in leadership. The more women are empowered economically, the more women will have voices in the home, in the workplaces, places they work, they will have voices. Nobody will take advantage of them, but we should not keep women down. Fathers should not be supporting only the boys over the girls. No, support them equally, give them equal opportunity so that they may have the opportunity to learn and be the wives. I'm told that we need do the just and the wives, right? Yep. So let us go now to the family and see what kind of environment they created for the girls, for the young women to be able to do wives.
Those are real serious points that you raise, especially the fact that the benefit from women starts from the home. It starts from the communities. It starts from wherever we find ourselves. And the good thing about trust. So before this show, I was having a conversation with a friend and we're asking the same questions. So if they can trust us simply with the Asusu money, let's say, trust us with the Tokyo treasure position, trust us with the everything else, why can't you trust us with serious decision making spaces?
Sorry, that sometimes when I meet one or two lawmakers that I have some relationship where I know them, right? So I ask them, how do you feel in a legislature, 73 seats, and you look across in a room, and you want to see, you just kind of women, you pick them up like Pokeball, when Pokeball dry, you just see them. How do you really feel, right? Having that discussion, you hear all these strong men voices, and you hear few, 7, 8, 9 women. How do you feel? In the Senate, the sitting in the Senate, 30 seats, and you have 2 women. How do you really feel? Do you feel comfortable? Do you feel satisfied? I wonder if we withdraw all those, the few women that are there, and let them run a house 1 week time or 2 week time or 2 section or 1 session with all women, how would they feel?
So the program you're listening to is Elections for Mama Liberia, a 1-hour radio program that supports women's participation and inclusion in elections, produced by Democracy International Elections and Democracy Activities with funding from USAID. If you're listening to us, get ready to call us on 0880-514-096 so we can hear your view. And again, you can call us on 0880-514-096 so you can make some contributions. We encourage people to listen. We encourage people to call in and make some contribution. A lot of us as Liberians, I don't know about any other nationality, I know a lot of us as Liberians, we've benefited from our mothers, our sisters, our grandmothers. A lot of us were trained and grown by our grandmothers, by the women in the communities. I remember when I was growing up, we had a lady in our community who was called Tida. We just call her like that. She was there for us, looking at our dress code, asking, oh, where's your mommy? Who's home today? So a lot of us have benefited from women leadership at different level. So if you're listening to us again, you can call us on 0880-514-096 so we can hear your view and then you can participate on the program. We are taking a brief break, and when we return, we'll open the phone lines so that you can call us and engage with our studio guests and participate on the program.
All hail, Liberia, hail. All hail, Liberia, hail. This glorious land. all hail, Liberia hail.
Everybody needs to choose our leaders, and everybody needs a chance to lead. Liberians agree for elections to be fair. Our sisters and daughters must also be there. Everybody wants leaders who can bring peace and manage our nation. Let's think of women in the election and help make Mama Liberia better. Election is everybody's business. Let's include men and women. Let's think of women in the election and help make Mama Liberia better. Election is everybody's business. Let's include women. This message is made possible with funding for the American people through USAID. The content do not necessarily reflect the views of Democracy International, USAID, or the US government.
So everybody have to be a part of the elections process. Elections is everybody business. Election is everybody business. You can't say, oh, one group of people and the other. So our lines are open. You are free to call us on 08805140996. We really want to engage with you. We want to hear your view. We want to know how women leadership has benefited you, and we want to be able to hear what women can bring to the table from your end. But let me hear from Telfin. You wanted to chip in something before we call it on the line.
Yes, see, I don't want to forget, because Madam Carlos spoke on the power of women. Mm-hmm. I want to support that statement that women have power. And if we hold on to that power can make the desired change that we want in our society. The power that we have, we don't even know the use of the power. You see women bringing down their friend, women, because if I can be in that position, that woman cannot be there. I want us to erase that notion. Madam Gallo is one of the women that have supported women affairs in society. To be frank, I never knew anything about the access to freedom of information in detail. She offered training for the Women Peace Building Network under the Peace Hub because what? She wanted for women eyes to open, that we have freedom to access certain information and we are limited to ask for certain information. When women are informed, they have the power to lead. And then one woman that I also see that push women affairs is Tonya Talewas. Even the position that I'm in now, she made sure that even if she doesn't know it, she will be there, she will stay there to learn. But you notice at the offices in the market, women fighting with each other.
Okay, we have a caller. Let's hear from this person. Hello?
Hello.
Yeah, your name and where you calling us from?
Yeah, I'm Mr. Pajibo, William Pajibo.
William.
Calling from South Community.
Okay. Quiet, William.
Yeah, I want to tell you people thank you very much. You know, I'm old now, and when I was young in Liberia, I'm from the Far East, from Kranjide.
Okay.
When I was young, the people used to say, when you say you go to school, you study your money. And the women, they were not having voice 3 times. When they discuss anything in the house, they can't even allow women to put more there. But now we got to know that it's very, very important to educate a girl. You educate a girl, you educate the nation. So I want to tell you people, thank you, y'all keep it up. Our children are coming up, y'all continue to talk to them so that they will become somebody good in the society tomorrow. I thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Pachibo. I just wanted to ask one question before you go. So, are you considering women candidates in these elections?
For me?
Yeah, you.
Oh, no.
Why?
If I do what to you?
If you want to vote for a woman in this election, you think about voting for a woman?
I'm voting for my daughter, so I could go damage.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Pachibo. Let me take the next caller. Hello?
Hello.
Yes, your name and where are you calling from, sir?
Okay, my name is James Sumo Wright. I'm in the LDF community.
James Sumo Wright.
Yeah.
Okay. So, quiet.
Thank you very much. You know, for me, I'm one person who believes women leadership and sister leadership who believe that women should get a fair share or whatever that is happening in society, whether power or whatever it is. Yes. So 2 points really that I'm looking at here. One has to do with when it comes to who goes to the legislature.
Okay.
For me, if it is possible for the entire both houses to be occupied by women, I will not have problem and I'll be happy. But when it comes to that, people who go there and for their idea to penetrate, they require power in themselves. And they should not be on any form of sympathy that we should send it because of woman. Because anything you carry down there, if you have to debate it, and have before you even go to voting, you have to debate it to convince people. If not so, it will never pass anywhere. So I want the women themselves to build that, confidence in themselves, to have that strength to practice and study well, follow those men who are in the area and who are strong, follow Madam Ellen Johnson Stelly, whether you are not a follower like myself, who have not been her supporter, follow Madam Yobli Kanka Lauren, who have been elected several times, that Madam Joa Howard Taylor, follow those people. Even if you are not a supporter, you are not following them for leadership, or follow them for who they are, follow their history, or meet them one-on-one. Then I tell you their strategy. Then you be strong, you go to that house, you argue, and your argument will come to work. And another thing is that while we are looking at women to be into power, to be in government, other things, also, for me, I'm a sociologist. I observe a lot of things in our society. You know that a lot of women now, girls who coming up, they don't focus anything that has to do with their domestic activities. Because they said women are equal with men. Yes, it's good. But in the home too, there are 2 roles there that one person will never play their friend in woman role and man role. Woman role has to do with paying attention to the children, and men who have to do with providing for the children. But you find a bunch of the young ladies that coming out, they will just go ahead, get the way the men will be outside there looking for something to provide to the home. So when we talk about power, we should also talk about the role of the woman in the home too.
Thank you so Mr. Wright. Mr. Wright.
Very much.
Mr. Wright. Thank you. You made good points. We appreciate all your contributions. But are you thinking on voting for women in the coming elections? I know you said at the level you post for women in your house. But
but what happens is now for me, where I am, like in my district, I'm not seeing any woman who are related to me because for me I'm available. So who I'm supporting in my district, this is men. And for most of the other country, I was supporting a woman who has carried almost all in my district, but she later disappeared from me. I have no connection. I didn't know whether she's running that on the media I heard that she's running. I would have supported her with my everything.
In lady, so the women here, you say they relate to you here. In lady, will take a few time. You can engage and notice. You take a few women. I know coming over here. It's a part of the process, so you can engage.
I'm coming to you now. We are in the middle of the water now. I stand back. I already take.
You already come across now.
Next time, I'll go and
okay. Next time, let me take the other caller, Mr. Wright. Thank you. That caller gone. Okay, so you listen to Mr. Wright, you listen to Mr. Pachibo. He earlier said that he had all women in the house. Then later on, so what can you say to Mr. Wright or Mr. Pachibo?
Okay, so the man who called from Sopine is Mr. Pachibo.
Mr. Pachibo, yeah, he sounds like an elderly person because he talks about tournament time. Okay, we got one more caller. Hello?
Hello?
Yes, sir. Your name and where you calling from?
Oh, I'm Jima Gasalo.
Jima Gasano?
Jima Gasalo, Rapatonindo.
Jima Gasano. Jima Gasano.
Yeah.
Okay.
O-N-T-O.
T-O, I got it already.
My name is O-N-T-O.E-O, not O-N-O.
Not O-N-T-O? Okay, go ahead. Jima Gasano. I got it already. We thought I wanted to. Which company are you calling us from?
Well, on the line of the women issue, women were never ever recognized in society. And now that they are coming to be recognized by the past government because our former president was a woman, I wholeheartedly appreciate it. But they have to understand there are plenty of women that come into power and they don't do their homework. Because they think they are superior to men to a certain stage that anything they will say, they will defend us. But on the land of supporting them, what we call equal agenda, I don't think I can say. And because of that, I will be able to vote for any woman that coming into power today. I will try to vote for them.
Okay,
that Joy, I want to know that I'm voting for her.
Okay.
And if you're putting somebody, I think one woman from somewhere in Palm country there, I will be in favor of that lady.
Okay,
because when you get woman, then everything is fine. But it's just a certain places they will try to take this advantage over the men. And God who made them say he made woman for men, he didn't make men for woman. He said you must submit. Okay,
Rumaga, thank you so much. So, Rumaga talk about submitting, you talk about the Bible. I don't want to go way to the religious, the religious issues, but I like the way he pledged his support to me. Before I could ask him the question, the line was already off. But let me also, before I come to you to respond, let me remind our listeners that elections are everybody's business. Everybody needs to choose our leaders, and everybody needs the chance to lead. Liberians agree that for elections to be fair, our sisters and daughters must also be there. Everybody wants leaders who can bring peace and manage our nation. Let's think of women in the elections and help make Mama Liberia better. Election is everybody's business. Let's include men and women. Let's think of women in the elections and help make Mama Liberia better. Again, elections are everybody's business, and we need to include men together with women, and together we can all create an enabling environment to improve women's political participation in Liberia. Back to you, Siri.
Okay, so I want to talk to the second caller, Mr. Smo. He said, the women then training, or the young women don't want to do the work they are assigned.
They want to do that domestic
They want
work.
to do that domestic work, the work they are assigned to them. So I normally ask people when I have the opportunity to engage them, when a girl child is born, a boy child is born, do you receive a letter from God or in the delivery room to say these are your roles and responsibilities as a girl child? No, we don't. So if you have your boys and girls home, let everybody be allowed to cook, clean, and wash, and do everything else together as boys and girls in a home. If you don't do that, then you also helping to perpetuate this thing about assigned roles that only girls' children can cook and only boys' children can go on the football field, learn to play football, learn to negotiate. But the girls will be home taking instruction from only the mothers, bringing the saw, bringing the chickens to measure, fuck over, wash the rest. So how do you expect that girl to negotiate when she gets to junior high school, elementary school? She wants to be president for her class or president for the school. She has not developed a negotiation skill from the kickball field, from the football field. But your sons have developed it so they're able to negotiate. So when they get to leadership, when they give them leadership position, of course they'll know how to navigate, but the women need extra time, or your daughter will need extra time to go sit down with somebody who have had the opportunity to negotiate, to start teaching her. We don't want that.
And he talks about, women can also talk about confidence, about the women having self-confidence to stand up. They're not going to pamper any woman. Because
and nobody born with self-confidence, or you just don't get her. I mean, you don't just get her in slings, tissue bow, I guess, self-confidence. No. You develop it from your home. Mr. William Guy, all the other men should be able to teach their daughters to have confidence, develop from home. Oh, you can do it. The other morning I was driving, coming home, bringing my granddaughter. So in our community where I started accelerating small. She said, Grandma, do it. Grandma, she's 4 years old, right? Grandma, do it. So that's what you need to do to your grandchildren.
Say, step on it.
Yeah, she said, Grandma, do it. Grandma, do it. So I laughed. I said, oh, you want Grandma to run? So we need to praise our daughters when they're doing the right thing, right? Encourage and say, you can be president, you can be minister, but not you come and be somebody and work. No. So you have to do it from the home and teach her. And no one learn how to negotiate on our home. I always share that story. But my brothers went out to play football, but I was home with my mother learning how to cook and do every other thing, right? That's not what God sent me here to do. Only learn how to cook. Let us share the responsibility 50-50, train our girls and our boys together. Now we see a lot of teenage pregnancy. People tell me when I hire on my boys, why are you high on your boys? Your boys don't get pregnant. Some of my boys don't get pregnant. My boys can pregnant with me. So you need to restrict your boys. The same way you restrict the girls. The same way you train the girls train the boys. And when they grow, they'll be able to harass somebody or abuse somebody sexually or that. We need to look at it from both sides, my people. Let us not start seeing that you're doing us a favor by putting us into a position. When you put us into a position, you trust in all with the country and we'll develop the country. I'm sitting here at LBS. I've not been here for a while, but when I reached out the money, I was fascinated by the outside of the building, the flower, the beautification of the building. And I'm wondering what that Titi Kane and Titi Jiblo and Estella who have done all this development. Yes, that's the
transformation women bring to the space.
Transformative leadership that women bring to the space. Get women more position. You will see. President, we are a few months you got or you will win election. Whoever try and appoint more women in your government. You not had an issue or somebody running mismanaging. I'm not saying women not corrupt, but when they want to be corrupt, they will be scared. So everything.
Yes. So and this question goes to the both of you. Let's look at the hindrances to women's contribution to the overall governance process in Liberia. How are we, Liberians, going to address this? The obstacles, the bottleneck, the bureaucracy, everything that's standing in our way.
Yeah, and
how are we?
And to break it down, the thing that I made women,
they are simple English.
Women can go in a house. We can have 50 women in a house as representative, or 15 women in a house as senator. The thing that I'm making it to happen, we need to talk about it. Talk about it. One of the things is how the country in Liberia, how it train us as men and women, that Mr. Sumo said, right, to divide roles and responsibility. Oh, you woman, you'll be somebody's wife. So no need for all to spend plenty of money on you to go to school or spend plenty of money on the board. I think that ain't so happy in someone and still happening. Somebody on
so that one, let me call it, yeah? Hello? Yes, good morning. Your name and where you calling us from?
My name is Lincoln P. Young Jr. I call you from Swedru, Grenville.
Lincoln from Swedru. Okay, Lincoln, go ahead, listening.
Yes, it's our pleasure actually to be part of the radio program this morning on the EDR radio program because we are one of the sub-grantees for the in-kind grant of DR. And so the inclusive, participatory, and peaceful election activities, we are also doing same in Grenville with radio programs, going into community and educating 30,000 Liberians, specifically the eligible voters. So also go through the exercises, with in a peaceful manner. And so we want to say thank you for the process, and also that every Liberian should know that this particular election is what we depend on so that we can be created on the international level. And so we highly support, our donor partners for the activities and the support they are also giving us to create this awareness, in Liberia for the 2023 election.
Thank you, Lincoln. Thank you, Lincoln. So we just got a text from Mr. Alex Colley. He's following. Thank you, Lincoln. So we just got a text from Mr. Alex Colley. He's following us. And he said we are doing brilliant. So, sisters, we are doing brilliant, great advocacy and analysis on women issues. He agrees with us 100%, and he's proud of us. So, Mr. Alex, thank you for your support to Mr. Colley. Sorry, Alex Colley. Thank you for your support to women. So, the question was, what are the obstacles? What is standing in our way? Jeffy.
You should continue. So as I was saying, it's the way the country of Liberia treat both men and women. They divided the roles and responsibilities. They say,
domestic work.
Yeah, women, you're supposed to do this, and men, you're supposed to do this. And when I was growing up in the 70s, the book that we used to use, I always used to see Man picture in the airplane as pilot. Now what's a woman picture? Data with the data clone the thing and run and make that was man picture. You only saw nurses with women as nurses or midwife, right? So they had to train us. So it will be so we say no. It's not the way it's supposed to be. You're just supposed to leave it open and let everybody decide what they want to do, right? What kind of trade they want to do. Women want to be engineer, they want to be doctor, they want to be teacher, let them be. So the way the society train or the way it shape us, the way it fit us, that's some of the problem we got. That's why we stay down. So what we need to do, that's some of the things we're doing here right now, we're creating awareness, appealing. I don't know how to use our word appealing, but no better one I can do me. Asking men and women to support women. Let women take on leadership so the country can be better. Because when we empower my people, the country will be healthier, the country will be safe, the country will be better as compared to having so men. Because we just live with your men now, then you'll be there. That's why I can tell the people, someone come there and say, oh, man, the CDC United Party people doing something over the whole black. What the women then say, I say, the women in the fire. When you check out, then you call the women. I said, we're not saying anything. Look at you. All running high, you know. So that's the situation. Let us and look at both men and women, young men. Give the opportunity. And there are other groups in the country, my people, that will continue to marginalize. Right? We need to also talk about how we can create a spaces for those other groups then to participate in all of we do.
Definitely. So, Daphne?
Yes, you know, the show is getting interesting bit by bit. I will tell you that women are the best leaders.
Mm-hmm.
When women take power, they want to do their best to leave that legacy so that they cannot be laughed at tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
But I was engaging something when the quarter came in. We the women, we are the problem for ourselves. I'm asking all women, whether you want to support your woman, your friend woman to be market, woman here, the market women head, in any other entity, let us support each other. Stop latching at each other. Start the pulling down system. If you notice in most of it, because we fight each other so much, I still the big corridor. We only have one, I think, female senatorial aspirant because the rest of the women are afraid. You can't go there. You don't have the capacity. What make you feel that they don't have the capacity?
Why are they bottom? Why are they blocking us? We talk about
the thing that blocking us. We don't like to support each other.
Okay, so it's one of the injuries.
Yes, we have to stop this attitude of pulling down in the syndrome. I will not support her. We'll support the men. The men that you supporting, the men don't even want to see us. Okay. But if your friend woman is there, she will try to make sure that.
Let's take our last caller and then we.
Hello.
If your friend woman is there, she will try to make sure that.
Yellow, the subscriber.
Okay, so that person is gone. Time is closing on us, so we have to reinforce our message. So listeners, elections are everybody's business. Everybody needs to choose our leaders. Everybody needs to have the chance to lead. So not just one group of people just leading, say 1847, you just leading. Everybody needs to have the chance to lead. Liberians agree that for elections to be fair, our sisters and daughters must also be there. Everybody wants leaders who can bring peace and manage our nation. Let's think of women in the elections and help make Mama Liberia better. Election is everybody's business. Let's include men and women. Let's think of women in these elections and make Mama Liberia better. Again, elections are everybody's business. We'll take our message and then we'll come back, we'll get our closing statements.
Election is everybody's business. Everybody needs to choose our leaders. And everybody needs a chance to lead. Liberians agree for elections to be fair. Our sisters and daughters must also be there. Everybody wants leaders who can bring peace and manage our nation. Let's think of women in the election and help make Mama Liberia better. Election is everybody's business. Let's include men and women. Let's think of women in the election and help make Mama Liberia better. Election is everybody's business. Let's include women. This message is made possible with funding for the American people through USAID. The content do not necessarily reflect the views of Democracy International, USAID, or the U.S. government.
So,
again, election already business. So in closing, since definitely we're in route, I can say in flight, then we come to Holy Lane and close, then we come to UCSU.
Yeah, so my party statement will be like this. We cannot continue to fight each other. We will not make progress. Let us learn to support each other in as much as we need women leaders. We should look among the women to see who can really lead to make impact. We want women leaders that will make impact in our society, not to just get there and do anything they feel like doing, and then people start to laugh again, to stay on it and say, but we told you women can do better. Let us look among our women and say, you can make it. If that woman has the passion to lead, but then she does not know certain things, you who next to her that know it, help her, work along with her to make sure that women leadership will stay. I'm calling on all Liberians to support our women aspirants at the representative level, senatorial level, any presidential candidate, whatever. Who wins become our president. But the idea is let us support women in power. At the local level, whether the farmer chief, town chief, client chief, market leader, superintendent, let us support women. We say they don't know, put them there so that they will learn, they will know and do better for us tomorrow.
I like it. I just want you to pinch in small on the issue of women supporting women, then you close.
So I have not come in a space of be with women. I work with women across the country for years. Then women don't support each other. Women do support each other, but sometimes they have the challenge of not getting the support of some of the male family members. Right? I remember in New Joy Estate when I used to live there in the 2005, 2011 election, my close neighbor, the husband was supporting CDC while the wife was supporting Unity Party. So she would come to me, when her husband go to work, she say, Cyril, what happened? Give me all the info. I will vote for my Ellie, right? But when her husband come and she would say, yeah, CDC knows because the husband was a betrayer. Oh yeah, but for her, that the best way she could express herself because her livelihood depended on him. So she had to pretend to him. For me, give this the free space. We need to support each other, but we have other factors that cause us not to be bold to stand or to support women in the opening. And those factors should be considered. We should discuss them when we have the space to bring women to discuss them so that we can resolve some of those issues.
So in closing,
I would like to appeal to the Liberian public. Women are good leaders. When it comes to women taking a decision and making position and being elected, we come up with a long list of criteria for qualification. But when it comes to men taking off, we don't come up with that because our assumption is men are already trained from heaven to be leaders and women are not. No, my people, give women the opportunity to lead in this country. Elect more women. I don't buy and blow about that. They come in election, I'm voting for women. No matter what people tell me, spoil a vote. No, man, I'm spoiling my vote. I'm voting my passion. I'm voting why I offer vote for women. Get women the opportunity to lead. We need to lead in the country so the country can move forward. The country is dirty. The country is sick. The country is dull, not educated because women are not in power.
Thank you so much. We need to lead so the country can move forward. Well, listeners, we've come to the end of today's edition of the program, Elections for Mama Liberia, a 1-hour radio program that supports women participation and inclusions in elections, and is produced by Democracy International Elections and Democracy Activity with funding from USAID. Join me every week until election time, every Wednesday at 10:30 a.m. on ELBC 99.9 FM for more discussions. Many thanks to our listeners. We specifically have 4 callers: Mr. William Pachibo, James Small, White, William Kasondo, and Lincoln Nyawu from Swedru. We say many thanks for joining us. We encourage more people to join us next Wednesday. This program was made possible by the generous support of the American people through USAID, and our guests have been Madam Delphine Morris Reggie and Madam Cyril Konagalo. Let me say thank you plenty, Labinowe, for joining us, and we hope that you join us next week. I am your presenter, Seattle Scott Johnson. I will bring you another edition of the program next week, Wednesday, at 10:30 to 11:30 a.m. on ELPC. As a reminder, this program will be repeated on Echoes Radio on Wednesday at 5:30 p.m. on OKFM and on Prime FM every Thursday at 9:30 a.m. The program is also broadcast on the 30 community radio stations across every county in Liberia. Thank you for joining us.